Hello, my name's George Cairns, and in this video lesson I'm going to show you how to create a comic book look from a photograph by using filters and layers, layer blends, etc. So you can see here that the dots in the image are like print dots in a comic book, and they're taking on the colour from the layer below. We're also using things like symbols and text layers as well. So in the next 7 minutes we're going to simplify the photograph's colours and tones to create this comic book look. So kick off by going to File, Open, and browsing to our start file, which is called comicstart.jpg, and bring that in to Photoshop CC. Then click on the thumbnail in the Layers panel, pop up to Layer, and choose Duplicate Layer. And that pops this window here. Just click OK to create a layer called Background Copy. Click on Background Copy to make sure it's a targeted layer, then go up to Filter and choose Convert for Smart Filters. This message will pop up, just click OK. You can even click Don't Show Again. And then you can see a little icon appears there to say that this is now a smart object layer, and that enables you to apply smart filters to it. Smart filters enable you to change a filter setting at any time in the future. Then pop up to Filter and choose Filter Gallery, and it will remember the last filter you used, which in my case is Halftone Pattern, but I'm going to go to Artistic here and choose Paint Daubs. We're looking at the image at 100%, so I need to click and drag to see the shot. I might want to zoom out a little bit to get a better look. And Paint Daubs simplifies the image if you use a setting of brush size 8 and sharpness 3, brush type simple, then you get this simplified version of the shot. Now on its own that doesn't look very artistic, but what we're going to do is create our comic book art by adding filters as layers within the filter gallery. So these are effects layers, and to add another effect layer or another filter, just click on the new effect layer icon. It'll duplicate the existing one, but we can then rummage through these folders here and choose a new filter such as accented edges. And you can see that combined with Paint Daubs, it's having an effect on our photo. So let's increase edge width to 3. And to create our ink strokes, I'm going to go to an edge brightness of around about 14 or so. You can see there it's darkening it now and creating lines around contrasting areas. And I'm going to push the smoothness up all the way to 15 just to simplify things even more. There you go, you can see we've got some nice lines appearing around our subject now, as if they've been inked in by an artist. We're now ready to click on the new effect layer icon to create a third effect there. Again, it's duplicating the previous one, but we're after a new one called poster edges, just to refine the look of our ink outlines, as it were. And you can see that's making quite a dramatic difference there to our shot. So we need to fine tune these values here. Let's drop edge thickness down to 2 and drop edge intensity to 1. That's simplifying things a little bit. We're not getting so many lines within the face now. And take posterization to 5. So we've now got 3 filters working together, and you can actually adjust the order of these by dragging them around if you want to experiment with different looks. So in this case we want poster edges at the top. Moving on, let's create a new effects layer, and in the artistic folder we'll find cutout, and this is enabling us to simplify the image even more for a more comic book look. So let's set the number of levels to a simpler 4. Let's take edge simplicity up to 3 to stylize things even more, and keep edge fidelity at 1. And I'm just going to zoom out a little bit more to show you the image taking shape. So that is quite a stylized look thanks to the combination of our 4 effect layers or filters. And once we've added those, we can click OK, and you'll see we've got a smart filter icon here, and the filter gallery can be turned on and off. Turn it on again. It might take a little while to reapply. And the nice thing is you can double click at any time on filter gallery and fine tune the values of any of our filter layers, which is why this is non-destructive editing thanks to smart objects. I'm going to click OK again to go back to my layered document. Let's grab the zoom tool and zoom in for a closer look, and we want to simplify things even more using another filter. So we pop up to Filter here, pop down to Blur and choose Surface Blur, and that pops this window here, and you can see if we click and sample an area that it's simplifying some of the detail there and creating a more simplified comic book style look. So we can set radius to 78, threshold to 30, click OK, and now that's applying surface blur as a smart filter. Now click on background copy to be at the top of the layer stack, and press Shift Control Alt and E on a PC, or Shift Command Alt and E on a Mac to create a stamp visible layer. This layer is a combination of all of the filters and layers below, and we're going to apply more filters to this top layer. We can also change the way it blends with the layer below to create a change in contrast. So we're going to set the blending mode to to linear dodge add. You can see we get a much more dramatic high contrast look there. A little bit too dramatic, so let's take the opacity down to 61% or so. Now we're going to add some black dots to create that comic book printed look, and to do that we need to make sure the dots are going to be black, so press D to get the default black foreground colour and white background there. We can then click on layer 1 and we're going to do stamp visible again, so hold down the Shift, Control, Alt and E keys on the PC, Shift, Command, Alt and E on a Mac. There we go, there's a new stamp visible layer with a combination of all the layers below, and we can pop back up to Filter, Filter Gallery. And it remembers the previous filters we used. In this case, what we want to do is just click on them and delete them, because we only want one filter, which we'll get from the sketch folder. So let's scroll down there and click halftone pattern. And you can see there we've got a size of 4, contrast of 17, and we're using pattern type dot. Click OK to apply that to our new stamp visible layer, and then if we change its blending mode to overlay, it will then take on the colours of the photograph below. Now to add our speech bubble, we're going to choose the custom shape tool, and we can get our shape from up here in the shape picker. It's this one here, so click to select the speech bubble. Make sure we're filling it with white, and we're creating a black stroke. Leave stroke set to 3, and you can now click and drag to draw a vector shaped speech bubble. Something like that should do the trick. You can grab the move tool and get it to overlap the face a little bit, like so. Press Command or Control T, and you can always transform that and scale it up a little bit. If need be, hit return to apply the change. And now you can personalize your comic book art by adding some text using the horizontal type tool. Choose Lithos Pro Regular for a comic book style font and set the size to 41. And then we need to click here to create a new layer for our text. Click, and then we can start typing. Hit return to go onto a new line. And you can double click to select particular words to emphasize them by going from regular to black, like so. Then just click and drag to position it within the comic book speech bubble. There we go.